And we're back with another episode of Let's Play Lost Odyssey. I'm your host, the RPG Guy, and we are now free to move about the free state of Numara. What's free about it? Well, freedom only costs $1.05. Ooh. Waifu!
You handled your role well.
So, my performance was acceptable?
Yes, Your Highness. We should now be able to achieve our objective. Let them loose and follow them to the truth.
And what will we gain from this exercise?
When we have proof they work for the enemy, we'll lock them up again. They'll give us excellent leverage in negotiations with Ura, and beyond the negotiations. We stand to gain information about Grandstaff.
Grandstaff?
Ura has built a gigantic magic engine called Grandstaff. And we suspect they're plotting something. Right now, Ura poses a terrible threat to the entire world.
A threat?
Our intel has confirmed that the tragedy at Wool Highlands is connected in some way to Grandstaff. If we continue to allow Ura to run rampant, that tragedy could be repeated again at any time.
You don't say.
The authorities in our military have voted unanimously to seize Ura as a preventative measure.
You plan to start a war?
The White Boa is already being converted into a battle flagship, and we've begun assembling troops and arms. This action is for the sake of the entire world.
I won't allow it.
While your majesty may have other ideas, the people will surely approve these safety measures. In this present magic industrial revolution, your majesty's isolationist policy is pushing the nation to its limit.
National isolation promotes peace.
This new regime must be created for the sake of world peace. We shall spread your majesty's teachings using our nation's military might.
You think military force can avert violence?
Would you rather see a meteor fall on Numara? If that were to happen, the people who so adore you would be reduced to ashes in an instant. No, the Grandstaff should not be in the hands of those simple-minded fools in Ura. We Numarans should control it. Then we can use it to maintain peace all over the world. Numara would become the most powerful, peace-loving country in the world.
Doesn't sound like much of a peace-loving country.
War is inevitable, Your Highness.
We will go to war to spread peace!
Figureheads. They should just keep quiet, play their role, and smile. Someone get in here, now!
That's actually kind of a true sentiment, though, that a lot of governments kind of work that way. Passively. I'm not going to get into a whole shtick about it, but there's a lot of evidence to presume that things like that are very consistent and true. Alright, we get another seed. Let's keep moving here, because there's this town is as big, if not a little bigger than Ura. And there's way more stuff to find in it than Ura, if my memory serves me right. So, And it's a lot of it's keeping your eyes peeled and making sure you don't miss anything. Sweet. Albino cat person? That's kind of creepy, as opposed to cute. What is it? Are my ears that weird looking? Not really. So why did you talk to me then? Want to play with me? Sure. Okay, then let's play tag. I'll run off and you try to catch me. Me. Well, you got me. That's weird. I thought I'd be a lot faster than you. Well, it was still fun, so whatever. Here, you can have this. I found it on the road. Pretty, don't you think? And we get a slot seed. That's actually an easy slot seed to miss. Because you just don't think to talk to her. Especially if you don't talk to characters, you know, in general. Or NPCs. Open Sesame. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm not a big fan of the save sphere trick unless there's just no easy way to heal. So we will use the inn for the sake of argument. We are going to loot the inn first. As we loot all these goodies. Nice. And there should be... Oh, yeah. Walked right by it. Let's go ahead and... It's only 150 gold. Smackerinos. And we can make sure that we're up to date on our 1,000 years of dreams, which we clearly are. Not that you really fall behind in them. I mean, at this point of the game, I don't think you can miss any until you get to end game stuff. No, there's still a couple missable ones, actually. I take that back. I definitely take that back. Thinking this through, there are missable ones. Yeah, there are some missable ones. Then the whole reason to rest too is you get up here. And I didn't have to walk, and it healed me. And trust me, if you're hurting for 150 gold, and that's why you don't want to stay, I don't know what to tell you. But you're either burning money on pointless, useless stuff, or you're that stingy you're super stingy, or you're a mid-maxer to the max. And I say that as an insult, and not as a... Because there is such a thing as, you know, there's nothing wrong. Let me explain. There's nothing wrong with min-maxing. So what that is, you know, checking and making sure your characters are, you know, at the peak or zenith of their abilities. You know, like they're uber good. That's what you're doing. You're manipulating the game to fix the minimum and maximum stats of your characters and everything going on. I have a friend who does this when there's no reason ever to do it. He just does it. And I don't know why he does it. But then he brags to everybody about how great his characters are, and everybody's like, yeah, that's great. You put in way more time than you needed to. And that's pretty much how the discussion kind of ends. It's like, you wasted your time. Well, I wanted to see what it would be like. And it's like, well, that's fine, but it still means you wait. It still doesn't disqualify you from wasting your time. Now, you could say, well, you've done it, RPG guy, when you did the Shining Force stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't min-max. Min-maxing would be like using the stat boosting items to max them and resetting the game every time I didn't get the number I wanted. That's min-maxing. In a game that doesn't require it to do well in it. It really doesn't. But if you really want those max stats, or you're trying to do a low-level run, then yeah, you need those numbers. That's when the min-maxing is actually useful. Low-level runs. Or speed runs, to a degree. That I will give credence to, but anything else just gets kind of ridiculous. You can see there's a lot of stuff just in this hotel. Pot. You'll never look at pot the same way again. Alright, down we go. Stuck on him. I ponder if this is also a harp or if it's just a... Because if that's an musical instrument, I'm curious to see how it's played. Alright, let's move on. Do. In we go. And let's move. Ooh, let's grab this. See, these little fruits now, you can start seeing from a mile away. Why can't we climb up there and grab those? Are they not ripe enough? What is it? Want to play with me again? Sure. Let's play hide and seek this time. I've got the perfect place. Hiding place. Perfect hiding place. You want a hint? Well, it's a key. Okay. I'm tired of it. He's the one who suggested going on a gondola for a date, but just how long does he expect me to wait? Aw, poor gal. That must suck. When I grow up, I'm going to be a mercenary. Why? Well, come on, aren't they just so cool? My mom says I gotta help out in the shop, but forget about that. If I was a mercenary, I'd be a million times more famous than a soldier. All the nations in the world would want me on their side. It'd be so awesome. Oh my god. Stupid kid. And we recall a memory deep within our farts. I mean hearts. That's what I meant. And a dream has been revealed.
Let's do it. The ramparts will fall to the enemy. It is just a matter of time. They will mount their attack at dawn. The main body of the Allied forces has already drawn far back from the front. Only the mercenaries are left behind the barricade. Their orders: defend it to the death. These men who have gone from battlefield to battlefield know exactly what that means. The talkative mercenary. They've just left us here to die, chuckles the one called Toma, in darkness too thick for a person to make out his own hand. They want us to buy time so the main force can pull further back. We're supposed to be their shields, performing our final service for our employers. His dry, papery laugh shakes the darkness. Kime says nothing in reply. Other mercenaries must be gathered there around them in the blackness. But all keep their thoughts to themselves. Mercenaries have nothing to say to each other on the battlefield. They might be on opposite sides in the next battle. At a time like this especially, when they have to defend the barricade against an enemy's withering attack, they can't spare the time even to look at each other's faces. Kime knows nothing about this fighter called Toma. His voice sounds young. He probably has very little experience as a mercenary. If a man grows talkative in the face of death, it means that, deep down somewhere, he has a weakness that prevents him from becoming a true soldier. A mercenary with even a hint of such weakness can never cheat death and live to see another day. It is the law of the battlefield, and a man like Toma will only learn that law in the moment before he loses his life. We're done for. We'll all be dead in the morning. We'll have that silent homecoming they talk about. I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. In the darkness, no voices rise to second these sentiments. It's too late for a talk like this. The day they chose the mercenaries' path was when they should have resigned themselves to death. They sell their lives for a little money. They prolong their lives a day at a time, by taking the lives of one enemy after another. That's what a mercenary is, nothing more, nothing less. Hey, can anybody hear me? How many of us are there?
We're all going to die together. We'll just be a line of corpses in the morning. Don't shut up now. Answer me. No one says a thing. Instead of voices, the silent darkness begins to fill with a tangible sense of annoyance. Wordlessly to gather on the battlefield, wordlessly to fight the enemy, and just as wordlessly to die. That is the rule of the mercenary, the aesthetic of a mercenary, if such an expression may be permitted. But Toma has taken it upon himself to abandon that aesthetic. I knew it was hopeless from the start. Headquarters didn't know what they were doing. There was no way a strategy like this could work. You know what I'm talking about, don't you guys? We had to lose. It's a total mess. I wish to hell I had joined the other side. Then we would have gotten a mountain of cash for winning. We could have drunk ourselves blind. We could have had all the women we wanted. I could have gone either way on this one, but I picked the wrong side to fight on. Hey, you! An older voice booms out from the darkness, an angry voice.
Yes, what?
Answered Toma, his voice more vibrant now at having at last found someone willing to talk with him. As if to crush his momentary enthusiasm, the other man goes on. How about shutting up for a while? If you really want to run off the mouth that much, I can send you to the next world, a step ahead of the rest of us.
I'm sorry.
Instantly dejected, Toma falls silent and the darkness goes still again. The stillness is charged, however, with deep tension, far deeper even than before Toma started talking. The veteran warriors know, watch out for talkative men. Being talkative means trusting in words, trusting too much in words. Words are useless on the battlefield. You take up your weapon in silence. You steel yourself in silence. You fight in silence. You kill the enemy, or he kills you in silence. All the mercenaries here have lived this way, but all but the talkative one. A soldier who clings too desperately to words may cling just as desperately to something else. To the sweet trap of betrayal, for example, or the seduction of desertion under fire, or the lure of madness. Kaim has often seen pitiful mercenaries who, unable to endure the terror of being surrounded by the enemy, go berserk and attack men from their own side. Will Toma prove to be another such case? The possibility is great, and no doubt the other men are thinking the same thing too. In the stillness, they turn the same gazes towards Toma that they reserve for confrontations with the enemy, looking for any signs of change in his demeanor. The moment they perceive the slightest threat in him, a blade will soundlessly pierce the left side of his chest. The silence continues. Not even the usual all-night cries of insects can be heard tonight as they were last night. Perhaps the insects knew enough to clear out in advance of the enemy's drawn attack. The thought reminds Kaim that he saw no birds in the area yesterday either, although animals came to snatch food when the men first built this fortification. There has been no signs of them for several days now. Animals have mysterious powers of foreknowledge that humans have lost. This becomes painfully obvious from any visit to a battlefield.
It's an interesting point.
There can be little doubt that the animals have turned their backs on this barricade. Right about now, in some distant forest, a huge flock of blackbirds may be taking wing in search of human corpses to strip of their flesh. It's feast time, boys! They already know somehow. Once the sun is fully up, the battle will be over. If they don't get here first, they'll lose the feast or flock from another forest. Their black bodies sitting against the night sky. Those birds now are probably flying for all they're worth. A voice in the night. Toma's voice, weeping. Listen, you guys, I don't know how many of us, how many of you are out there, but we're all going to die in the morning. Or most of us. Maybe 1 or 2 of us will live to escape, no more. Think about it. Those are lousy odds. You've all been through this before. You're veterans, war heroes, you're probably not scared. But even so, even if you're not scared, don't you think this is stupid, huh? Tell me! You've been through a lot more battles than I have, so tell me. What the hell are we here for? We don't hate the enemy. We don't owe the leaders on our side anything. But we've got to kill the enemy and follow our leaders' orders. And we're still going to end up dead. Tell me, you guys, don't you think it's pointless? Don't you think it's stupid? The only response to Toma is the impatient click of the tongue in the darkness, followed by someone else's sigh of annoyance. I can't take it any longer, says Toma. I hate this. And now he is sobbing. All I wanted was some money and maybe something better to eat and maybe nicer clothes. I would have been happy with that. What a mistake I made taking work like this. I should have never done it. What a bitch. Kaim keeps all his senses open for movement in the night. Aside from himself and Toma, 5 other soldiers are crouching down in the darkness. Not bad. All are experienced warriors. They would not have been able to put up with Toma's whining otherwise. If they let themselves get angry and started shouting at him, or grabbing him by the throat, or wailing away at him, they would end up consuming their strength and energy before their work started at dawn. If this is an assemblage of men who know how to keep their silence, the chances for life are that much greater, assuming, that is, that the talkative, weeping man does not become too great of a burden for the rest of them. Still sobbing, Toma continues to curse his fate. Suddenly, something different. Something stirs in the silence. This could be bad, Kaim thinks, sharpening his attentiveness still more. When dawn breaks, Toma will get in our way. Because of him, the possibility for life will wither. The mercenaries know that, and because they know it, they might do whatever it takes for them to secure for themselves even the slightest added chance to live. I don't want to die here, I tell you. Not now, not here, like a worthless dog. You guys feel the same way, don't you? Moonlight shines down from a rift in the clouds. For a split second, Toma's tear-stained face appears in the darkness. He is even younger than Kaim imagined from the sound of his voice. He's practically a boy. The clouds hide the moon again, and thick black darkness enfolds everything once more. Sorry. A dull light stirs in the depths of the darkness. Without a word, Kaim darts, wind-like, towards it. He was able to gauge the distance between himself and Toma during the flash of moonlight. Kaim grabs Toma's arm. Something hard falls to the ground. The dull light flashes again, and this time at their feet, and melts again into the darkness. A knife, driven by the fear of death. Toma was trying to slit his own throat. Toma twists away and tries to free his arm from Kaim's grasp, but Kaim chops him in the solar plexus. Without uttering a sound, Toma passes out. With Toma slung across his back, Kaim strides through the darkness. Eventually, Toma wakes and thrashes his legs to get loose. Stop it, let me go! Kaim lowers him to the ground. Every once in a while, the moon comes out. Check your direction when that happens. Go straight towards the setting moon, Kaim says gently. What the hell are you talking about? There is no way you can get out. What are you talking about? It's the only way you can get out of here. Kaim has chosen the thinnest part of the enemy's encirclement, of course. There is no guarantee that getting through here will save him. From now on, Toma will have to believe in his own luck and abilities. Are you coming too? Toma asked. No, I'm going back. You escape alone. Why? You come too. Let's both escape. Come with me. Toma clings to Kaim's arm as he pleads with him, but Kaim gives him a hard slap on the cheek. The flesh of that cheek is too soft to belong to a veteran warrior. It is the flesh of a boy, a kid. You go alone. But why? To live, that's why. What about you? You want to live too, don't you? You should run away with me. You don't want to die, do you? Want to live. No, Kaim has no great desire to live. He lived because there is nothing else he can do. He lives because he has to. Toma is far too young, his own burden of life far too fragile, for him to know the pain of such a life. We live to fight, that's what mercenaries do. But get the hell out of here, you're ruining it for the rest of us. You guys will never win this battle, so why not run away? It's our job to fight. With that, Kaim turns on his heels and starts back the way he came. Toma stands there watching Kaim move away, and a moment later he himself darts into the western forest. To fight or to flee? Kaim cannot know which holds out the greater promise for life. He also believes it is better not to know. Except, I hope you make it, boy, he mutters, walking on. The eastern sky is beginning to brighten little by little. Soon the enemy's all-out attack will begin. From the western forest, a few birds take to the air. Perhaps it is meant that a small-scale battle has started in the silence, or that the poor young mercenary has been felled with his back to the enemy. Kaim does not look back or break his stride. He feels certain that he's seen that talkative mercenary before. Before the war broke out, the boy was selling fruit in the market along the highway. He was a good boy, took good care of his mother, the women of the market were saying. Live a long, full life, Kaim wishes for the boy as he himself walks on, glaring at the lightening eastern sky. So, more world-building stories. Whew. Now, what I'm going to do is, because Numara, the city of Numara is so big, we're going to clear out this place, bit at a time, rather than go in each building and as we come up to it. It, to me, makes more sense to just do it this way. Trust me. And we get a seed. And who are you? Doggo! Yo, 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 yo. This must be the dog that kid in front of the palace was looking for. Oh, hey, guess it's gonna go back to its master by itself. Sure. Up we go. I'm running. And remember, guys, think of it this way. The more of those stories we get out of the way, the less stories we have to bog us down later. And we got it. Delicious slot seed. Alright, we'll head down. Alright, let's keep moving. As we grab this goodie. Now, if you don't play the hide and seek game, I don't believe you can come in this way. Hence why we're coming in this way. Yay! Now, don't worry about her. Just do this really quick. We got a new product in today. The customers all love how beautiful it is. I wanted to keep one for myself, but it doesn't look like I'll be able to. So no real useful information.
So you could miss out on all of this stuff if you don't play that hide-and-seek game. Wait a minute. My girlfriend's waiting at another stop. Oh crap, I did it again. Thanks a lot. I better get to her quick. What? Huh? You want me to get that box for you? Yeah, sure. It won't be much trouble. Pretty shrewd of you guys. Yeah, give me the goods, bitch. As we get shine. The white magic shine. Yay! In we go. And now let's go talk to her. Choo-choo. Oh, you found me. I thought for sure you'd never get me here. How the heck did you get in here? It was locked, wasn't it? Hee hee, well, hello there. Do you have a new key for me? Yep, my dad's busy, so I brought it over for him. Here you go. Ooh, thank you. My old key was broken, so I couldn't open the door anymore. I was told remaking it would take days. Your father's an exceptionally skilled man, though. He did the job in a fraction of the time. Well, here's your payment. Say thanks to your father for me, will you? The guy who runs this shop is my dad's best friend, so he asked him to repair the broken key. So you snuck in with that key. That's not really fair at all, you know. Hey, it is too fair. Here's what the shopkeeper gave me. My dad has a ton of these, so you can have them. And we get mana earrings. Bye-bye. Let's play again real soon. The mana earrings are cool, in a way. As they give you MP max up level 1. Doesn't raise your MP by 1. It's a level 1 upgrade. You get too excited. Alright. Let's keep moving. Let me think. Which way do we want to go? Well, it's not about that, really. What we should do is this. Now, you notice they weren't there earlier. Thank you. Now the loading's all taken care of. But are you sure if this is okay? Won't the captain yell at you if he finds out how much you've helped me? Don't worry about it. This sort of thing we can handle in a flash. Yeah, think of it as payback for all the hot lunches you've made us. If you need any more help, just give us a call. And yes, it is another dream. It's another memory. But like I said, we're in a new town. We're going to run into this stuff. And again, the more of these we get done, the earlier the better. Right?
Letters from a weakling. Once there was a woman who came from a foreign land to marry into an old family. Her husband was from a tiny village in the mountains, but he was working in a thriving harbour town abroad when he met and fell in love with her. At the time, he asked her to marry him. His father in his home country collapsed and died. Being the eldest son in his family, the young man had no choice but to return to his homeland, taking her with him, of course. Her name was Mina. This was not a name used by the woman of his home. This was not a name used by the women of his homeland. Indeed, her name was not the only thing about her that was different. The color of her skin, hair, and eyes, and the language she spoke were all different. Had the young man's hometown been a harbor city where people of many different lands cross paths, there would have been nothing unusual about this. In such places there were any number of homes that welcomed foreign men and women into the family, generation after generation. But this is about as deep in the country as you can get. The young man told Kaim, sighing on the night he made Mina his wife. Kaim had rushed here all the way from the harbour town in the far country to attend the wedding. At the banquet, the young man had given Kaim a look, and the two had slipped away from the festivities. They were standing in the garden, looking up at the night sky. When the eldest son marries, his wishes are of no importance. What matters is family. The two families negotiate the engagement, and the bride is chosen who is acceptable to the groom's parents. That's how it was with my parents, and my grandparents did the same. I know what you mean, Chaim said with a nod. Judging from the formal wedding ceremony, it was easy to imagine the highly conservative nature of this area, and just as easy to imagine that the relatives had not welcomed Mina into the family. Alex, Chaim said to the young man. Yes, the young man answered, still looking up at the sky. You're the only one who can protect Mina, you know. I know that much, Chaim. Mina's a wonderful girl. I know that too, of course. The three were good friends. Chaim and Alex had worked together offloading ships at the same pier, and also together they had often gone to the neighborhood where Mina worked in an outdoor stall. Even now, Chaim retains the bittersweet memory of Alex and Mina struggling to communicate in each other's languages. You know, Chaim, Alex said that night under the sky, I think you sensed it, too, but Mina was drawn less to me than to... Chaim cut him short. Never mind, he said with a pained smile. Of course, Chaim knew how Mina felt, and if he had responded to her feelings, she and Alex would not have been married here today. But Chaim had held back. Instead, he had urged Alex to pursue his love for Mina and help the two come face to face. He felt no regrets about having played the part of the unlikely Cupid for them. Destined to continue his never-ending journey, Chaim was unable to love Mina in return. One of Alex's uncles stepped out from the house drunk. Hey, Alex, what are you doing out here? He growled. The groom can't be absent from the reception. Sure, I'll be right there, Alex said, turning towards his uncle. Chaim tapped him on the shoulder. Make Mina happy, Alex. Leave it to me, he answered with a smile. Come on, said the uncle. Hurry up. The groom's supposed to sit there the whole time. The entire family is here, and we're going to drink the night away. He grabbed Alex's hand and dragged him back into the house. The man was all smiles with Alex, but when he glanced at Chaim, his borderline polite smile could not disguise the gleam of distrust in his eyes for an outsider. Chaim was sure he had noticed that same gleam, though perhaps not as openly displayed, in eyes that alighted on Mina. So that was the kind of village to which Mina had come as a bride. You better make her happy, Alex, Chaim called out again towards his friend's receding form. I'm counting on you. But now the uncle had his arms around Alex's shoulders, and he was noisily monopolizing his nephew's attention. Alex never heard those words from Chaim. It was 3 months later when Alex came to visit Chaim at work on the pier. I'm in the town on a buying trip, so I thought I'd stop by and say hello, Alex announced. But judging from the fatigue evident on his friend's face, Chaim had a pretty good idea of his real reason for coming here. As casual as possible, Chaim asked, How was Mina doing? With a feeble smile, Alex replied, After the wedding, things happened. Mina had been accepted neither as a member of the family nor as a resident of the village. There were too many differences in daily customs and culture. The one thing that made Mina too different for their tiny village was the brown color of her skin. If only she could speak with people. Mina's trying her best to learn our language, but my mother and the other relatives make no attempt to learn hers. Not so much as a good morning or a thank you. They insist it's up to the daughter-in-law to do all the adapting. Still, Mina was working hard to draw closer to Alex's family and birthplace. She would be the first one out to the fields in the morning, work without a break until the sun went down, and do sewing until late at night. She would try to talk to people in the local dialect that Alex had taught her, using gestures and body language, and she would apologize profusely with abject smiles whenever she failed to understand what they were saying. Chaim could easily imagine Mina going through these exertions, which made Alex's report all the more painful to him. You should come to visit us now and then, Chaim. Mina would love to see you too. Chaim responded vaguely with a silent nod, and when Alex added, I want you to come and cheer her up, he said nothing in reply. What's wrong, Kaim? Are you angry? I'm not going to visit. Why not? You promised to make her happy, remember? We agreed that you're the only one who can do that. But still. Sorry, I haven't got time for this. I have to get this ship loaded before it sets sail at sunset. With this curt dismissal, Kaim turned away and continued working. Alex stared at him from behind, looking frustrated and confused. Kaim could feel his friend's gaze on his back. Because he could feel it, he kept working without another backward glance. Eventually, Alex gave up and left. Neither man spoke words of farewell. A year after the wedding, Mina gave birth to a son. The boy had brown skin like his mother. He had just started crawling when Alex visited Kaim again. There was talk of a divorce, Alex said. There's nothing wrong with our relationship. Mina and I love each other, that's for certain. But my mother and the relatives say that there's no way they can accept a brown-skinned child as their family heir. His existence supposedly harms the marriage prospects of my younger brother and sister, too. So they want us to send the baby to Mina's family. It's gone that far.
Grow a backbone, Alex, you little bitch.
Alex had lost a great deal of weight. He was obviously living with much pain every day, trapped as if he was between family, quote-unquote. And Mina. None of this made sense to Kaim. However trapped Alex might be, as long as he was firm on what was important to him, there could only be one answer to his family's demands, and he should be able to arrive at it without anguish or confusion. I know how strong you are, Alex sighed, speaking to Kaim's back as Kaim went on, hoisting huge, spine-snapping crates in silence. The longshoremen here were well paid for handling crates on their own, loads that would take the 3 ordinary men to lift. The daily wage was calculated by the number of loads each man lifted, so asking for help would result in a pay cut. For this reason, Kaim and the others never complained or asked for help. They wouldn't lift even their heaviest loads by themselves. Alex had been like that too. Somebody nearby asked him, "Are you going to be okay with that?" He would be all the more determined to do it on his own. Fine, fine. He would smile, and gritting his teeth, he would lift the giant load. But Alex was not like that anymore. I'm starting to think that maybe in the long run, tying Mina down to a life in my village is just going to make her unhappy. My relatives say they'll support Mina and the baby. So it's not as if I'd be abandoning her or chasing her away. It's just that, for both of our sakes, starting a new life. Having finished piling crates on deck, Kaim turned towards Alex for the first time. He was looking down at Alex on the pier. And you're all right with that? Huh? If you're convinced it's the right thing, then go ahead and do it. It's not for me to interfere. Alex's features distorted under the impact of Kaim's words. Kaim said nothing more, but went back to work. His anger and frustration were reaching the boiling point. Alex had no idea that Mina had been writing to Kaim on occasion since shortly after the wedding. About the hardship she has been facing in the home of her husband's family, she said not a word. Instead, she would spell out how happy her current life was, and declared repeatedly how much Alex loved her. Always the letters would end like this: "I'm sure you too must be living happily, Kaim." This is why Alex's report of the situation at home had filled him with such intense anger and frustration. He had never answered Mina's letters. He felt certain that if he were to write to her without her words of with words of encouragement or comfort, or even playing along with her sad lies, something important that gave her spiritual support would snap in two. "Come see the baby, Kaim," Alex pleaded. "Mina would be thrilled if you'd do that." Instead of responding to Alex, Kaim called out to him from on deck. "See that crate over there? Can you lift it?" The crate near Alex was of the same size and weight of the one that Kaim had just loaded onto the ship. In the old days, Alex would not have hesitated to carry it up to the ship, every muscle in his body shuddering. Now, however, Alex gave Kaim one timid glance and, smiling to hide his embarrassment, said only, "Not me." Kaim said nothing more. He felt strongly that their long friendship had come to an end. Though in fact, for Kaim, whose life would go on through all eternity, It had been nothing more than a momentary acquaintance. Kime has been on this endless journey ever since. Now and then he thinks back to the bygone days. Both Alex and Mina long ago came to dwell among his distant memories. The kind of memories that revive with a deep sense of bitterness. And they are there to this day.
Yeah, this voice does make my throat crackle a bit.
Alex made his third trip to see Kime a year after the baby was born. Having wasted away into a mere shadow of his former self, Alex stared vacantly at Kime, and his voice lacked all intonation as he announced Mina's death. She had killed herself, hanged herself in the barn. Kime was amazed at his own detachment as he took in Alex's words. Mina's letters had stopped coming several months earlier. Either she no longer needed to spin those sad little lies about being accepted by Alex's family and the townsfolk, or she had lost the strength to invent them anymore. In effect, it was the latter. Kime was learning now. To the very end, she could not make anyone accept her, my mother, my family, or the town, Alex said tearfully. She was all alone, finally, to the very end. Without a word, Kime punched Alex in the face. Alex seemed to know and accept the fact that the punch would be coming. He did nothing to resist or defend himself. The fist hit him full on and sent him sprawling in the road. Why? Kime demanded to know. Why did you say she was all alone? And when Alex righted himself, he smashed him in the face again. Alex began coughing violently and uncontrollably, and when he spat up a gob of blood, a broken back tooth came out with it. Kime knew well enough that Alex had been suffering too, that he had been engaged in a desperate struggle to do something about being trapped between family and wife. Otherwise, he would never have wasted away so dramatically from the brawny young man he used to be. As well as he knew this, however, Kime could not forgive him. He had promised, he had given his word. He would make Mina happy. He would protect her. Kime could never forgive Alex for failing to make good on his oath. Wiping the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand, Alex dragged himself to his feet. I know how strong you are, he said to Kime, as he had once before, but this time his words took a far sadder tone. But let me tell you this, Kime. My mother and my relatives and the others, their way of looking at things is not completely crazy. To live in peace and quiet in the country, you have to follow the country's special rules. It just so happens that one of those rules was not to accept a bride like Mina. I was born and raised in that village, and I know the village code. Know it all too well, which is why I've been in such pain all these months. I'm a weakling, I suppose, in your eyes. I'm probably so weak you want to spit on me, so laugh at me, hit me, despise me if you want to. Come on, hit me again. Alex thrust his face at Kime for more punishment, and Kime threw another punch. This one landed squarely on his nose, and may have broken it. Alex crumpled to his knees. The blood that gushed from his nose was blacker than the blood from his mouth. Alex looked up at Kime with a smile of self-derision. Mina should have been with you. That's what I think. If she had married you and not some weakling like me, she'd still be alive. With a wordless, strangled cry of rage, Kime lunged at Alex, grabbing him by the collar and hoisting him to his feet. Another punch, and still another. Kime was not planning to stop punching Alex. No, though, with Kime's hand still fastened to the front of his shirt, Alex looked straight at Kime for the first time since coming to the dock. Why didn't you ever answer Mina's letters? That's all she was hoping for. A letter from you. So he knew. Alex knew everything. It's terrible out there in the country. Anybody who wants to can find out who wrote letters and who got them. Everybody out there is like family. Everybody but Mina, that is. If Alex had wanted to, he could have quashed Mina's letters easily. Then not one of her sad little lies would have reached Kaim. But instead, Alex had read the letters, resealed the envelopes, and sent them to Kaim one after another. He had internalized Mina's sad little lies and started looking for Kaim's answers even before she did. Kaim stopped his fist in midair and asked, "How could I have possibly answered her?" "Why not?" Alex retorted. "You knew how trapped she was feeling. You must have known how much encouragement one word from you would have given her." "But you were Mina's husband." "Yes, that's true, but you were always the one deepest in her heart." "I knew that, and because I knew it, there was only one thing I could do." "No, that couldn't be." Astounded, Kaim lowered his fist as Alex said to him, "I wrote her. I pretended I was you, and I wrote her letter after letter. Be strong, I told her. Keep your spirits up. I'll come see you soon. You're too strong, Kaim, so you can't understand the feelings of weak people. But I don't have that problem. I'm weak. I understood how a weakling like Mina felt." Alex cried, the blood streaming from his nose and mouth. "There's one thing I don't know, though, Kaim. I don't know whether Mina actually believes that the letters I wrote were from you, or whether she knew that I was doing and pretending or whether she knew what I was doing and pretended to believe. I wonder, was life in my village so painful to her that she couldn't go on living without pretending to believe?" Kaim made no attempt to answer Alex's question. Slowly, he let the strength go out of his clenched fist and released his grip on Alex's shirt. Alex drew a step back from him, then took another step, putting distance between them before his final revelation. "There was one letter, just one, that I didn't send to you. That was 3 months ago. It was the first letter in which Mina begged for you for help. She said she wanted to run away and ask you to come and save her, as soon as possible, to rescue her and the baby. That was the letter Alex threw away. Posing as Kaim, he wrote a two-worded answer. Be strong. The day after she read the letter from Alex, Mina hanged herself in the barn." Kaim stood rooted to the spot, crestfallen. This left him momentarily defenseless. Alex shot his face at Kaim's solar plexus. Alex shot his fist at Kaim's solar plexus, though his feeble blow could hardly be called a punch. The pain it inflicted might have been greater for Alex's own fists than for Kaim's superbly conditioned muscles. What an idiot I was. Be strong. Such words might have meant something to somebody like you, but to burden a weak person like Mina with them, no, they could only break and crush her. Alex gave another tearful, self-disparaging smile and thrust his face towards Kaim. "So hit me. I don't give a damn. Hit me all you want. Beat the hell out of me. But let me ask you this, Kaim. If I had sent her last letters to you, would you have finally answered that one? Would you have been able to accept Mina in all her weakness?" Kaim did not know how to answer this question, nor did he raise a clenched fist to Alex again. So ended the story of Kaim and Alex. Alex turned and walked away, but Kaim could not bring himself to call out to him. He simply stood there, drained of all emotion, and watched him go. Alex did, however, turn to face Kaim again when he had put enough distance between them so that Kaim could barely make out his voice.
I did not press a button, by the way. No button was pressed. Sorry about that, but I did not press a button.
Every now and then, Kaim remembers Alex and Mina as he proceeds on his endless long journey. When he thinks back on what he himself was like in those days, wanting only to be strong in all things, the memory is a bitter one. If only he had been the person he is today. The present-day Kaim would not have rejected such human weakness. No, he can accept the fact, sometimes with a pained smile, sometimes with genuine heartbreak, that everyone is weak. If only he could begin his journey again. Miner may not have had to die, but this is no more than a hopeless dream. He meets them only once, and they are gone forever. The mortals, the humans, the ones without eternal life. This is what makes them all the more dear to him. This is what makes his breast burn for them. Aware now that he has failed to love human weakness throughout his battles and his wanderings, Kaim turns a step towards Alex's old village. Alex himself, of course, is long since dead. But Alex's descendants he can tell at a glance. They have brown skin. Brown-skinned youths are the ones in charge of the village festival, as brown-skinned old women teach girls how to weave floral decorations. Brown-skinned children are those who are not brown, play together in all innocence, free of care. Perhaps this can comprise a tiny epilogue to the story of Alex, Kaim, and Mina. The graves of Alex and Mina lie side by side atop a low, wind-swept hill. Kaim picks flowers from the field and offers them at the doomed couple's graves before returning to the road. What is human strength, after all? Kaim still does not know the answer to this question, and this is why again today his journey must go on.
See, I don't know why that particular paragraph just jumps around, but it does. It just does, and there's not much I can really do about that, unfortunately. So I do apologize for that. I really do. Again, not much I can really do about that. But at least that covers that. We'll come back here in a little bit, actually. Now we're getting to the end of I'm running out of time here. I need to finish up what we're doing. There's only a handful of items we've not collected in this area, so I'm kind of trying to power through it as best as I can. But yeah, we're not able to do that yet. You know what? I see things in here. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let me think. You know what? Let's just get those really quick since we're here. We're already here. And I don't want to forget that these two plant things are here. Money. And this should be a seed. Yeah, a seed. We'll go through here. And let's head back this way since we've got that couple squared away. We can get this done. Alright, you wanted the box? Well, don't worry, I'm on it. And thus, that's how you get that chest. Yay! NPCs for the win! Mimic ears are awesome. They give people cat ears, and that's not a joke. But we're not going to do that right now. Let's go in here. Really quick. I think we can get through this enough. And let's loot the Artist's Salon. For some drugs. I mean, a healing herb. Yeah, that's a good story. It's not about justifying things sometimes in the now. It's that story. That last story is interesting in that respect. Oh, really quick. Where's... That's not him. Where's that guy? There's a guy here we gotta talk to for this thing for later. There he is. Because you don't know the password, the soldiers have been breathing down his neck lately, so you'll need a password to get in. Once the clerk stops, you tell him that you're there on Totemus' recommendation from the salon. Totemus is the brother of the salon's owner, and he's one of our best customers. Be sure to try it out. Alright, alright. So, okay. Get in there. Now, let's go, and we'll finish this episode pretty much with grabbing this. But yeah, Sometimes, you know, justice and righteousness takes a little while. And that town learned the hard way. Because for all the bigotry that they did to that one girl, the old way of living no longer exists. And you don't have to force it down people's throats to make it happen. So Totem has invited you. Please go on ahead. Yay! Alright. This is Ringmaker Trace. And we can assemble rings with the goodies that we have. Yay! So we can take pretty much the current rings that we have and assemble them into stronger ones. That's no joke. We can do that. But we have to make a bunch more rings. If we want to do this. Which is, you know, making more flame rings, making, you know, more aqua rings, and so on. Because we just literally don't have enough materials. I mean, we can do some more here. Like that. 3 of those. 3 of those. I believe we can buy items to make more of these if we need to. And I might do that. And that's all we're going to do with that. And then what we can do is come back over to Trace here. And you can see it takes 3 flame rings. So it's fire up and damage up. You can make a water powered ring because we've got bruiser rings as well. I think we'll need to make more of those. So let's make a bruiser ring. It's probably good to have 2 of the elemental powered rings each if we can. Wind ring ultra. Oh, we need... Where is it? Bruiser rings. And Bruiser Ring Ultra is just damage up +1. We don't want to really buy that because it's pretty expensive. Osmosis rings, fine. Numbing ring occasionally causes paralysis. Some of these rings are cool. Alright, let's go back to Trace again. I know it's a long episode, guys. Just bear with me. We'll make 1 earth-powered ring. Well, technically, I can make 2 right now. You know what? Let's see if we can make 2 of each of the other ones really quick. So we need... we need more bruiser rings. At least 3. There we go. And then the soul ring requires osmosis and bruiser ring. Damage up, MP absorb. We're going to make that. Hardened killer, we don't... Oh, wait. Piercing ring and bio ring. We have the... I don't think we have the piercing ring. Beast ring, aim ring. I don't know if we have those. Bruiser ring and anger ring. And that gives damage up, critical up. So we're going to want some of those too. We're going to want those bruiser rings for sure. So 2 of these plus 2 of these. We need an osmosis ring and a bruiser ring. And I think there's a piercing ring, which we don't have enough hard skin for. We're gonna need a bio ring at some point. Oh, we can make 1 of these. Alright. I know, guys, we're getting there. The Herculean ring, we'll make 2 of these. We can pretty much only make 1 of these. And a soul ring. And we're done. So, really quick, why we went with the Herculean ring is because it gives us damage and critical up. And then for Numbnuts, he's going to get the soul ring, which absorbs MP and it slightly increases his attack damage. Yay! And we'll be doing more of that throughout the game. Steel sword. Both characters can get that. And the force sword. So we'll buy 2 of these. And 1 force staff. Now. Somebody's got that equipped. I know we have one of those. Oh, shoot. I wasn't done here. Search glasses. That's the item we missed earlier because we couldn't get it. We can also buy anti-sleep. Sage's protection. So the stuff that characters have equipped don't surprisingly show up here. Anti-paralysis. Yeah, we know Numbnuts has that on. And then there's grants immunity to sleep. Good, good, good. Let's just fill up on, about 12 of each of these since we've got a little bit of money. That way, if we want to make more, we can. The other thing, too... Give us the whetstone, and then another 6 of these. Alright, and that's all that's here, in case we do want to make more elemental stuff later. Again, we still have gear we can sell, but we're going to hold on to that for now. No reason to just start selling stuff we don't need. Alright, and this is a great place for us to stop right now, so I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I'm your host, the RPG Guy. And when we come back, we are going to be building, we're not building anything, we built a bunch of rings. And I might look into seeing if we can build the last one here. Let's just double check really quick. It's the turtle shell ring, which requires a piercing and bio ring. Which, again, I don't think we have the means to make the piercing ring. No. We need heart skin, which we can't buy yet. But we will make a bio ring just so we have it. Might make that later, too. Shockwave ring. This is new. GC down level 1. I don't care about that. Alright, but yeah, so we're pretty much done here. Yeah, we're not going to make anything else. But we've made at least an upgraded version of all the elemental rings for both melee characters. And we got a better ring for now for Jensen's. So, anyway, like I said, guys, this is a great place for us to stop right now. So when we come back, we've got more of the free ocean state of Numara to go through. Specifically, the city of Numara. And we are going to be looting this place for all it's worth. Trust me, there's a lot more in store for us on the next episode. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JackTartStudios for more live gaming action, as well as you can check out our other shows, the Chairman of the Board Tabletop Show, as well as the Hobo Head Crab Blind Plays Show, where he blind plays through classic JRPG games that he missed out on in his childhood, and you get to see another generation's take on those games. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We'll see you guys next time.